What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. It didn't seem to take long for Nintendo to announce, I guess, another Nintendo Direct, kind of. It's a Nindies Direct, and what's weird is it kind of comes on the heels of the Nindies Direct we just got at Gamescom. Well, I guess just before Gamescom. Anyway, we're getting another Nindies Direct, which is weird just because we just had one that was packed with things like Windjammers 2. And according to them, this one might be a little more interesting that we want to tune in for. We're going to talk about that. First, though, let's get into some of the quick news, starting with Pokemon on Twitch. Apparently, Twitch is going to be running their biggest marathon yet, and it has to do with the Pokemon Company. In fact, they're partnering with them. They're showing 19 seasons. 19 seasons. That's right, 19 seasons of Pokemon that amounts to over 900 episodes. They're also showing 16 movies, and this is going to start August 27th, and it's going to span all the way in to 2019. That is a lot of Pokemon, and you can tune into Twitch and I guess watch it at any time. It's just going to be pretty much a viewing party going on over the back half of this year into next year. They are also going to have badges that you can earn with points, and you can be placed on the leaderboards. They're going all out, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I guess you can get caught up on Pokemon while watching with everyone on Twitch. I'm sure it actually will be pretty fun, and it's just, that's a lot. They're really a massive block there. I like the idea of these badges being included, though, that you earn. That seems kind of like a neat idea, but hey, starting August 27th, I guess if you've been out of Pokemon or used to watch it or maybe you've missed it, you can, I guess, jump back in and just kind of have it playing on a monitor or tune in whenever just to see what's going on, or maybe you want to earn those badges and get on the leaderboard. Oh, and you know, we talked about the Nintendo voice app being used for Diablo 3 the other day. It looks like it will also be used, as we've kind of been figuring, but after everyone really started looking over Nintendo's site, it does look like they're going to be using that same app for their NES games online. So we know that Super Mario 3, for example, is going to have online play. A lot of the other games are going to have added online play, which sounds great. And in order to voice chat, apparently you're going to have to use that cell phone app that no one really likes in the first place. It's a shame because we see Fortnite do it so easily. I mean, it was a few days afterwards, and boom, voice chat. There you go. You plug your headset in, or you use your wireless USB headset, which does work, and you're off and running. You can just talk to people like normal. You don't have to open up your cell phone over here, and hopefully it's charging, and make sure you got it just right and everything. That's a whole thing to do. It's a shame that they're still continuing with this app, but after the massive backlash, they seem dead set on this app. I don't know what would change their mind. I mean, with all the pushback, what else would it take to really get them to do something different? I think they're locked in, unfortunately, with this app, and that's a shame because the Switch can obviously do it. I don't know why they're so dead set on this app, but looks like for the NES games, yeah, you're gonna have to fire up your cell phone if you want to talk to somebody, or I guess sit near a computer or your laptop and use Discord. Also, Cyberpunk 2077 has been shown off at length at Gamescom. A lot of people from the press have been able to check out that demo. I think the same one that they saw at E3 that was behind closed doors, and a lot of us are still waiting to see that in full, and I guess just see full gameplay of this thing and everything. We, of course, have seen the trailer for it. Looks great, sounds great. Engadget even talked further about it, where they talked about how it's been in development for over 6 years now, and it has reached, I guess what you would say, a large development milestone at this point. Yeah, it's playable from start to finish. Now, the thing about that is because the game is probably going to be a large open world, similar to what we've seen with like The Witcher, for example, because you can go through the main quest line, doesn't necessarily mean the game is completely done and ready to go. There's a lot of stuff, you know, side quests, side missions, different ways to explore that could get broken. So just because it's start to finish doesn't mean it's ready to go, but that does mean that they have made massive progress, and it sounds like I think this game is going to be out in 2019. I think this is like a holiday 2019 title, and that's pretty exciting. I do think it's also going to be Xbox One and PS4 and everything. And of course, they'll be pushing new video cards, as I believe the trailer and the demo that they showed with the gameplay was playing on a 1080 Ti, but of course they'll downscale and figure out what they got to do to get it on the major systems now, as the PS4 look to be pretty much neck and neck with the PC in terms of sales. So yeah, they want it on these consoles. All right, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into some of the bigger stuff, starting with the Nintendo Nindies event that was announced. Now, I guess the one at Gamescom for Nintendo UK while that was Nintendo UK, they didn't publicize it, I guess, as much on Nintendo of America or anything, or any like their big YouTube channels. I did notice it was on like Nintendo UK YouTube channel and everything, and that garners less viewership. This seems to be the big one, I guess, that they want to put out there. They did put a tweet out on Nintendo of America saying, tune in 8:28, 9 a.m. Pacific time for a new Nindies showcase video presentation highlighting multiple unannounced indie games coming to Nintendo Switch. So we're going to be streaming it here, obviously. We're going to have fun, we're going to watch it, and apparently we're going to see new unannounced indie titles. Not necessarily ones we know. Now, I do think some of the bigger announcements, like, say, Windjammers 2, will make an appearance of some kind. I do. I think they'll have that there. Unannounced is the big question mark, because I wonder if we'll see unannounced games and then also get announced release dates. Like Wargroove, for example, that's a good one. Dragon Marked for Death is actually going to be playable at PAX West, so I expect a release date because it's supposed to be coming out in the winter, later this year. I expect a release date there. Although indie titles, they can just drop release dates whenever. They'll probably even go over Undertale just to show that back off, to say, hey, you guys remember Undertale? But it's going to be interesting to see all of that and when, I guess, a lot of these games are coming out. I'm curious about No More Heroes with Travis Strikes Again to see when that is coming out, because that's the one that I'm mostly curious about at this point, because we weren't sure at first if it was an indie game or like a AA or, a game above an indie game, I guess you'd say. But they did show recently there's going to be Morphe's Law shirt in there, so that was kind of cool, I guess. Hopefully the shirt isn't lagging around or anything, but it's going to be fun. I know a lot of people want the big direct, and it's coming. It's going to be, I'm guessing it's going to be the first or second week of September. And because we have a Nindies direct here, doesn't necessarily mean that it's in place of a full direct. In fact, I would say it's just not. There's so many games coming out on the Switch, indie games in particular, constantly, that they could probably have directs whenever. Like Nindie Direct, they could probably do like 4 or 5 of them a year and not even break a sweat just because of how many. Now, are all those games quality they're showing on the Nindies Direct? That's another conversation. But it's going to be fun to see what they have. Some of these release dates I want to see. Definitely No More Heroes release date. That's the big one. And then what unannounced games are they showing up with? I can't believe Windjammers 2 was on the other Nindies direct that they did for Gamescom. That would have been a good one to announce here, but I think they'll still cast a light on it, and we'll see. Also, what happened to Shakedown Hawaii? That's another one. That's one I want to see that's coming out this year. Maybe like an October release or something for Shakedown Hawaii. That we were really excited for a while ago, and then it kind of disappeared under the radar a bit. And after playing like Retro City Rampage, when that dropped again on the Switch, yeah, I'm looking for Shakedown Hawaii. Let's get that game out this year so we can play it, because that's been kind of on my mind for a while, and then it fell off, like I said, when we got into summer, and now I think it's a good time to kind of show up with it and say, yeah, it's out now. Yeah, let's do that. It's out now. Next up, let's talk about THQ Nordic, because why not? We always seem to talk about them. They are porting a lot of stuff over to pretty much all systems. We heard recently that they're strangely grabbing Saints Row the Third and bringing it to the Switch. All right, that's fine. It was a good game. Sure, I guess. I've played that game quite a bit, so I might be Saints Rowed out right now, and I'm looking for a new one, but it's still cool that they're doing it just for people who missed it. And do you guys remember how I played Red Faction Re-Mastered Edition on the channel? I played that on the Xbox One. I like Red Faction when that was out, Red Faction Guerrilla, and they're bringing it over, Remastered Edition and everything. It's out now. But the one thing I was a little curious about was THQ Nordic has been porting stuff to things like the Switch a lot recently. That's a last-gen game. I was surprised it wasn't on the Switch. Well, it actually might be coming. And this is something that was very interesting, as the cutting room floor did manage to find Switch button prompts just littered all over the PC version. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming to the Switch, I guess, but usually you don't put those kind of button prompts in there for a game like this going to the PC, because you would just use Xbox 360 or Xbox One button prompts, even for the Switch controller that does technically work natively in Steam now. That seems like something you would just have ready to go for when it's going to the Switch. So don't be surprised. This lines up with what THQ Nordic has been doing, which is taking their older IPs that they keep picking up and then flipping them quickly and remastering them and then putting them out on all systems that they can at this point. I think they should go back and grab Darksiders 1 and 2 while they're at it and put it on the Switch, because why not? It's easy money. People would buy it, I think, on the Switch, and even though I own that game on like 3 different systems at this point, I would probably check it out too. So yeah, let's grab Red Faction, put that over, get Darksiders 1 and 2, and then grab Time Splitters, and then yeah, just grab all of the games THQ Nordic. That's what they want to do. So this isn't shocking news, and when they do announce it, because I bet they will, don't be surprised. Next up, let's talk about a game that I have a feeling everyone forgot about. It's Left Alive. Do you remember when this game got announced? It was at a presentation from Sony just before Tokyo Game Show last year, so we're actually coming up on a year now that this game's been announced, but we didn't hear anything about this game. We knew it took place in the Front Mission universe, which Front Mission was a game that was on the Super Famicom, and then it went to the PlayStation 1 as Front Mission 3, which I really liked that game. I thought it was a pretty cool tactics-based RPG with mechs. Very cool. Left Alive gets announced, and it looked interesting. We didn't know what it was. We heard, like I said, it was going to be in the Front Mission universe, and that's kind of where it was left. Nothing else. We didn't really hear anything else. At least until Gamescom, we know a little more now. DualShockers actually had a full write-up and a ton of screenshots, by the way. So here are some screenshots, and I do like, I guess, the look of the game, although I'm still not 100% sure on what this game is going to be, I guess, because apparently you can make decisions on if you want to be on the ground as your pilot, and I guess it'd be like a shooting game, like a third-person shooter, kind of. Or you can jump in the Wanzer mechs. Wanzer mechs are from the Front Mission universe. When you were playing in like Front Mission 3, usually you'd control like a Wanzer and you'd run around and in RTS style and destroy your enemies. But apparently your decisions will play a role in the game, and you can decide even to just not get in the Wanzer at all and just keep progressing through the level on a ground level, or you can of course be in the mech. It also sounds like most of the game is going to be you rescuing civilians, I guess, and that does affect the ending or the outcome of your missions. I'm not sure about this game right now from what we're hearing. The screenshots look okay. They look kind of rough at times, but I'm hoping that there is more to this game from what they've described. We haven't even seen like full-on, like, actual in-depth gameplay, just screenshots and a pretty brief overview and synopsis of what to expect. So I'm not really sure when we're gonna hear more about this. I feel like this is a 2019 game, maybe even like a holiday 2019 game, and maybe next E3 we'll find out more. But they've been fairly quiet about this game, and that concerns me at least a bit. Then our last bit of news, let's talk about the Nintendo Online Service and the cost and what you need it for. Now, most of us expect to need it for pretty much all of Nintendo's first-party games. Most games you have to pay for usually is going to be a part of that service where you have to have the online service to play. But if you go to like the PlayStation, you don't necessarily need to have the online service for the PlayStation Plus to play things like a Fortnite or any other free-to-play games, like DC Universe, you don't need it. Basically, Warframe, anything you don't need to pay for, like a free-to-play game, you could just play without having to pay the $60 per year. Microsoft's a little different. Xbox Live, you actually need to have the $60 a year service, Xbox Live, to play games like Fortnite. You need it. If you don't have it, it doesn't work. It's a weird thing to have it like that because it looks like now, for more evidence that's coming out, it looks like Nintendo's online service, that $20 per year, you won't actually need to play free-to-play games. There's already been a theory going around, but now that Arena of Valor has come out, Tencent has, and said, no, you don't need the online service to play, you can just sign in and play. It's giving us a bit more confidence that, okay, they're going the route of Sony in this case, where you don't need to pay the $20 per year to play free-to-play games. Does not look like they're going to wall that part off, and that's a good thing. That's good to hear. Probably the same for Fortnite, for example. You won't need it for that, and this is what I like to see, because I do think Microsoft's going to change that. I think they should. It's weird to have to pay for Xbox Live to, I guess, play peer-to-peer games on a free-to-play game. It's very odd, and Sony doesn't do it. It sounds like Nintendo won't do it, so hopefully Microsoft looks at that and says, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be doing that, and they kind of pull back. I think there was a point in time, if I'm remembering correctly, where you actually needed Xbox Live to use Netflix. They did fix that finally, but I remember thinking about that, and I was like, man, you need to use Xbox Live? Like, pay for that to get Netflix? That is so weird. So Microsoft has done that in the past, so I do think at some point they might be fixing that, but we'll see. At least for now, we can at least look at the Nintendo service and say, okay, Nintendo and Sony, you probably don't need to pay the money to play the free-to-play games. We'll definitely get a confirmation, though, a month from now, we hope, when this online service that we know so much about launches. And guys, that's where I'm gonna leave Newswave today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is the Nindies Direct, what do you expect to see? Are you getting a little antsy for that main direct, the big direct that a lot of people are expecting? Or maybe you're a fan of indie games and you like seeing a lot of these indie games showing up. Then what do you think about Twitch doing this massive Pokemon marathon or Cyberpunk 2077 being playable all the way through? Let me know, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.